In the eyes of a masked and suspicious world, New Zealand is no longer quite so safe. Confirmation that swine flu is here has spooked the first country into taking direct action against us. The Philippines has cancelled an order for New Zealand pork, echoing a decision by Ecuador to ban American pork products. The international pork industry is so worried it's calling for the virus to be renamed, leaving out the word swine. The Ministry of Health is concerned the first confirmed cases, the Rangitoto school group, aren't treated as lepers when they come out of quarantine. But the Health Minister says the quarantine actions taken so far definitely were not an overreaction. More suspected swine flu cases were detected at Auckland Airport this morning. 5 were passengers in transit to other countries. 11 were New Zealanders returning home. All are being kept in isolation. A swine flu helpline has taken more than 1,300 calls, and the government's introducing new powers to treat swine flu suspects. 7 countries, including New Zealand, are now confirmed with swine flu, and swine flu fear is as contagious as the virus itself. Nations are cautioning people against travel, and trade is being affected, as Kate Lynch reports.
Not a single pig worldwide has tested positive for the H1N1 virus, but that hasn't stopped the Philippines from getting nervous.
There's been a suggestion that the Philippines stopping pork exports out of New Zealand. I mean, to reiterate the point, we've never had swine influenza in New Zealand.
New Zealand pork exports amount to less than $3 million a year, and the Filipino cancellation is of little consequence on its own. But it shows how sensitive the world has become. Some nations have gone as far as blocking all meat imports from the United States. Authorities there are trying to drop the swine flu name in favour of something less suggestive, like novel virus.
We're discussing, is there a better way to describe this that would not lead to inappropriate actions on people's part?
As well as exports from New Zealand, tourism is of equal concern to our Prime Minister.
There's been some minor impact at this stage. Some Japanese tourists have cancelled trips to New Zealand, a small number, and India has a travel warning. That's about it.
House of Travel says they've seen a few cancellations, both people coming here and leaving.
Right now, it's obviously we're on the radar and people are looking at those sorts of things, but it may just delay the booking as opposed to actually cancelling the booking.
But if we have problems, Mexico is much worse off. The tourist season is just about to get underway, but Canada has halted all flights to Mexico, and many European travel companies have suspended tours. The next round of A1GP, due to be held in Mexico City in a fortnight, has been abandoned because of the health risk to teams. But the World Health Organization says it may be too late. Swine flu is crossing new borders every day.
There is definitely the possibility that this virus can establish that kind of community-wide outbreak capacity in multiple countries.
Financial analysts say the New Zealand tourism sector is already feeling the effects, and even a mild pandemic could wipe billions of dollars from our economy.
You'd probably see our dollar suffer as a result of just a heightened risk aversion, and our dollar would suffer as a result of that. And potentially demand globally for things like agricultural commodities might soften a bit as well. So the flow-on effects would be quite wide-ranging.
On top of that, New Zealand and other countries may face a loss of productivity as more and more people are quarantined with flu symptoms and forced to stay home from work. Kate Lynch, 3 News.